Okay, ladies and gentlemen, live from Springfield, Oregon, it's the first installment of the day of the Artful Stalker. Okay, I want you to see that it's snowing here. What is it? February 6, 2014, and there's Big Blue out there. Let me zoom in on it. I already zoomed in. Uh-oh, what's going on? How come we're not zooming in? Oh, there we go. Look at that. There it is. There's the car, the truck that I call Big Blue that I was talking about having fantasies of driving down the road to make a left turn and drive to Nebraska to find Rena, get her and take her up to Alaska, where we build a house. I asked her this letter, this infamous letter that Deputy Sheriff Dan Mayland read, that I'm, asked her, do you wear blue overalls? It's just too insidious, this whole thing. So, my muse, Rena Easton, had filed stalking charges against me. Let me back up here and set up for this. I guess it's a pilot movie. I think I'm going to turn it to a movie. I'm going to send out a script because this has never happened in the history of relationship between artist and muse that because of the contents of a letter, a 4-page letter, apparently my muse became absolutely convinced or terrified that I was going to do her some harm, stalk her, find out where she lives, and which I don't know. I don't know where she lives. And I think it would be pretty hard to find out. I have no desire to find out where she lives. And I have no desire to go visit her. Maybe I've had some psychic visitations, but I don't think psychic visitations are against the law, are they? Someone calls up here. It's a snowy, it's not a fit night out for man or beast. I love it how Rena talks about her walks, in the snow. With her dog and her cat. And there, the wolf tracks in the snow. Outside her trailer, a lonely trailer top of the hill. God's writing the script, you know this. God loves a good story. So anyway, let's get some things out of the way. This is some coats I bought for my friends Chris and Stefan in New York. She lives in the village. She's been there she's 40 years in the village. She's the cat, was the cat lady of New York and stuff. Knows all the artists and stuff, musicians and stuff. Okay, let's put that over here. This is a coat I got Chris to go with a Chinese outfit that I gave her a couple months ago. That Stefan Ian's, the famous artist of Brooklyn, New York. He's had shows at MoMA and other places in Austria and stuff. So this is a coat I found for $2 yesterday. Isn't that cool? Beautiful. It's a Chinese outfit coat to go with her gold red Chinese outfit. And check this out. I can't believe it's $8 at Goodwill. This is leather here with an Indian design coming down. The leather, real leather up here. The Indian design coming down here with leather trim pockets, leather buttons. This is a beautiful coat. This is from my new friend Ian Smith. It's a famous artist who's become, well, Chris Waddell, my dear friend since 1967, has become his muse. He's come in, created a whole museum there in her once very, very, tore up apartment, So he's painted the walls, and he's got all, his artwork up hanging here. So I'm going to kind of show you what started all the commotion here that's got Bozeman, Montana, or the state of Montana, in an uproar. I don't know if I can step foot in Montana. So this is the painting I began. I'm now beginning to wonder when I started doing this. I think maybe, 2 years ago. Okay, there's the snow. Here's the snow woman. Here's my muse. That started it all. This drama, high drama on the high plains. High plains drifters, not a, what's the other one? No Country for Old Men, There it is. There she is. I started doing this 2 years ago. And, I started looking in those eyes, and all of a sudden I'm, kind of like transfixed, mesmerized. Is that a crime, being mesmerized by your muse? Well, apparently, and this is what this movie, the Tales of the Artful Stalker is going to be about. I'm going to make a comic series of this. Would that be interesting? This interplay. And the reluctant Messiah, the reluctant muse. So, and I've got pictures of this that I did, I don't know, 8 months ago. So, if I show this to you, and Sheriff Dan Malin or anybody who's looking at it, don't you get afraid now. Don't you jump to conclusions, about this little, I don't know, art object I found here that I was considering putting into the painting, so. Dun-dun-dun-dun. Wow, what is that? Got pictures of this. I think it's something you'd find in, there's some cobwebs. How gothic. This is a gothic work of art, this thing here. Oh no, there's those things I was looking for. There's a little rusty eye hooks. Rusty eye hooks. Gothic, there we go. There's a ring here, So I think this is probably something that could have come from Nebraska, for Wyoming, or Montana, we butcher, your cattle, hang the meat on there, See, but I was thinking about having her, be holding up this meat hook thing, like a cross. This is like a crucifixion of this beautiful woman in America, when she's used as a piece of meat by everybody, to be devoured. But now with this stalking charge coming from Montana, you know, it's, you know, who's got their hooks and who, you know, she's got her claws at me, sure, help me, sure, ah. But, you know, here it is, you know, the artist, you know, being crucified by his once beautiful muse who's grown old and turned into a demon. You know, here I am, you know, being taken down the streets of Bozeman, you know, carrying my own means of crucifixion to the high hill. You know, it's too much. It's great stuff. So, there it is. You know, it's also, you know, kind of a John the Baptist thing going on here. You know, where she tears up my letter. See, this is what's unbelievable. I mean, this is what's freaky, and I think Dan is, you know, he seems like a normal kind of guy, you know, maybe about 30 or 35 or something. And here this woman comes into the office, in the sheriff's office, and she's got 2 letters. And one letter is a duplication of the one she sent me. She memorized it. Apparently she's got this memory. She says she's got 1 million poems memorized in her head, and she recites them when she's working like 8 hours a day as a janitor. You know, she's up there, you know, vacuuming and you know, reciting Edgar Allan Poe. And she judges how her mood is, her, you know, gauging her who she is, or how well she is, or composed she is, by not making a mistake when she draws up one of her poems. I mean, this is an amazing gift. You know, this is, you know, idiot savants do this. Have, you know, to memorize maps, encyclopedias, and you know, amazing ability to count. Well, she has this ability with poetry, and apparently she you know, she could do this with things, anything that she reads or writes. So she's written this letter to me, this 4-page letter, written out all these poems, and each letter is, you know, it's not longhand, it's all each one separately. And after studying my letter for, I don't know, 10 days, she decides there's things in there that make her feel afraid or dangerous for her, you know. So she goes to a friend to be sure, you know, unless you like to, well, no, I mean, hope in the movie this person, you know, is revealed. Or, that, you know, the documentary, I think this should be a real well, this is the documentary here, actually. You know, this whole incident, because Rena is the muse of my famous sister, Christine Rosamond Benton. So anyway, she goes to her friend, and they study this letter, and they realize there's a demonic force or something in there, and they tear it all up. You know, you know. The she-wolves, you know. It's a full moon, you know, over Bozeman, you know, Montana, wherever she lives. And they shred my letter up, you know. You know. And they realize that didn't work, you know. They can still feel my psychic intrusions coming, you know, and for the snowflakes, you know, whatever, you know. So they realize that they've got to reconstruct this letter, and Rena's letter to me, because she doesn't have a copy of her letter to me, and she doesn't have a copy of my letter to her, you know. And what they want to do is reconstruct or construct a case of stalking against me, and they need evidence, you know. And look at those eyes. I mean, this is a, you know, a superior race of being from another planet. You know, I have some friends. Amy was like telling me when she saw this a painting I was working on of Rena, she says, "Oh, she appeared in my painting." I said, "Down, Amy, down. She's mine. You know, you can't have her, you know, because Amy's sort of a narcissistic person that does all these psychic paintings that bring people in, you know, and she's been bringing in all my friends on Facebook, and, you know, she was messing around with Charles Shields, who wrote Vonnegut's autobiography, and she was messing with him, and, you know, hitting the delete button, you know. You know, so what am I saying here? So, this, you know, she had the mind, the ability to recall these two letters. Literally one night, you know, I guess it took one night, you know, I'd probably take, if anybody had this ability, you know, 10 weeks to do this, but she apparently did this in one night, you know. She wrote down her original letter exactly, we think, and then she wrote down my letter to her exactly, maybe. And she took these letters into the sheriff's office there in Montana and said, "This man is stalking me, the man who wrote me this letter." And he wrote this in response to this letter. And then the sheriff goes, "Well, wait a minute. Both of these letters are in the same handwriting. You know, how can that be? You know?" And then he hears the story, the most incredible explanation or proof that the Nephilim are amongst us, the super race of beings from outer space, as Amy calls them. And we will look at Amy's art in another installment of Tales of the Artful Stalker. So anyway, I'm going to show some work of art here. This will really get the psychologist, the sheriff studying, you know. I got this a couple of years ago in Salvation Army. It's beautiful. I can't find the name of the artist. This is an original oil painting. And someone's used it as a dartboard. All these holes in there, and I was going to patch them up. I said, no, this is part of the whole theme of, you know, capturing beauty, you know. Then I got this at a yard sale. I love that, you know. And there it is, Rosamond, you know. And well, here's Melinda, my second girlfriend, who Brian McLean, the famous rock opera rock group Love, called the Black Widow, because her father had Sky, this beautiful beatnik that, like Jesus, killed. They blowtorched his face off. You know, this is a fact. And when Brian found out that I was dating Melinda, he said he didn't want it. He said, "Stay away from her. She's a Black Widow. She killed my friend Sky. She got him killed. She was 16. And, oh, yeah, she was Christine Rosamond Benton's good friend. That's how I met her. She came home after school with Christina, and we fell in love. Well, she fell in love with me when she saw my painting of the Ripper Man. I had run out of paints, and so I had this dark blue paint I found in the garage. I took a plywood, I had some clay, and I put some chicken wire on there, and I made this life-size man. And put some leaves in there and some stuff, painted everything a dark blue. 17 years old, I'm doing work like this. It should be in a museum, but it's all been disappeared by my angry, jealous family. So when she saw this, she walks up to it, and she's extremely gothic human being. She was speaking sentences when she was written up in Time magazine. Her speaking sentences when she was 6 months old. Kid you not. Very, 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 very big energy of mind person like Rena, to be in with these very highly intelligent women. And the energy that comes off them is just incredible. I just miss it so much. So there's Melinda before this, my wicker man, you know, and she starts crying. I go, what's wrong, Melinda? And she says, there's a spider right there over this third eye. There's this little cocoon, and there he is in there. Wow. You know, so we're looking at these tales of the dark side. They had a TV show, The Night Stalker, didn't they? You know, this is the tales of the Artful Stalker, and this is installment number 1. Okay. This is Springfield Johnny, also known as John Presco. You know, walks softly out there. You don't know what's lurking around the next corner, you know, what might inspire you